fronts the FBI with a copy of a draft statement on the Hillary Clinton email investigation.
Now, for the first time, we're seeing the actual changes in black and white, and it's not pretty for Comey.
It's maybe the greatest crisis in terms of law and order and the rule of law in American history.
We are defending democracy and draining the swamp. So together, let's cut the red tape.
I look at this as a reset. I think this is an earnest attempt for you to reach out to all of us, not just to me.
I can't believe you would question my ability to...
Girl, bye.
Right to this Fox News alert for you, though. A lot to get to, and here's some brand new documents revealing then FBI Director James Comey's exoneration statement in Hillary Clinton's email probe was watered down. We've heard about that, but now we know that there were several key edits that are raising some serious questions over the Bureau's impact in the 2016 election. Todd Pirro joins us now with the new details developing overnight. Good morning, Todd.
Good morning, Heather. These newly released documents show that Comey's draft was edited numerous times prior to that infamous public announcement. Remember this statement by Comey?
We assess it is possible that hostile actors gained access to Secretary Clinton's personal email account.
But in the early draft, Comey said it was reasonably likely that hostile actors gained access compared to just possible. Then there's this.
Although we did not find clear evidence that Secretary Clinton or her colleagues intended to violate laws governing the handling of classified information, there is evidence that they were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
But the early draft said grossly negligent. That is a key legal distinction. Senator Ron Johnson, chair of the Senate Homeland Security Committee, sent a letter to the FBI highlighting these examples, saying they had a significant impact on the FBI's public evaluation of the implications of her, meaning Hillary Clinton's, actions. The letter following newly revealed anti-Trump text messages exchanged between FBI officials who worked on the Mueller-Russia probe, one of whom, Peter Strzok, was the person who changed the language to extremely careless. Strzok texted, "There is no way Trump gets elected, but I'm afraid we can't take that risk. It's like an insurance policy in the unlikely event you die before you're 40. Now, Senator Chuck Grassley, Senate Judiciary Committee chair, wants to know what this insurance policy was all about.
There is a very good reason to suspect that people that were very early involved in the investigation and very deeply involved in it had biases against the president and very much supporting and anticipating that Hillary Clinton would be president of the United States.
So, Heather, it seems every single day another layer on this onion is peeled back, and it's not pretty.
Yeah, and if people were with us yesterday, our guest from Judicial Watch, that's the exact point he brought up, that insurance policy text. So more of that to come. Thank you so much, Todd.
Okay.
Well, could these bombshell revelations lead to a new investigation into Hillary Clinton's server, as well as the FBI's handling of the original? Well, former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, says that we need both in order to wipe out this level of corruption never before seen, he says, in American history.
At every level, this is undermining our system of justice. It is violating the law. It's very likely all of these people will end up going to jail. But imagine that the reverse had happened. Imagine that they had allowed the law to follow its natural course. Imagine that you'd gotten a report last summer, or the summer of 2016, by Director Comey saying, well, you know, it's likely that foreign agents did get to her accounts because of the way she'd handled them and the way she'd broken the rules. It is clear that she was guilty of gross negligence, which in fact is a technical term meaning that she had broken the law. And if he had said, therefore, I am recommending that she be prosecuted, I mean, you would have blown the whole campaign wide open at that point. And I think it's maybe the greatest crisis in terms of law and order and the rule of law in American history.
It's a big statement there. So some brand new Harvard Caps Harris polls show a majority of Americans agree with the speaker. The survey was done back in November, and even before these latest revelations, 54% of registered voters saying that they do feel there's a conflict of interest. Of them, 70% are Republicans and 40% are Democrats. And compare that to the 60% of Democrats who say they don't see a problem with Robert Mueller's personal friendship with James Comey. Well, what do you think about the latest developments and the accusations of bias? Send us your comments on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we will share them later in the show. So get those in right now. Well, President Trump cutting the red tape, another big story we're following, signifying his efforts to slash government regulations. This as the FCC votes to repeal Obama-era net neutrality regulations. Garrett Tenney joins us live from Washington, D.C. with what all of this means. Good morning, Garrett.
Heather, good morning to you. Who doesn't like a bit of show and tell? And that's what we had yesterday at the White House as President Trump bragged about his administration's efforts to cut what he calls burdensome, duplicative, and ineffective government regulations. In the Roosevelt Room, the president used some visual aids to show how much federal regulations have exploded since 1960. And to roll that back, the president set a goal to eliminate 2 regulations for every new one implemented when he took office. Yesterday, the president said his team has done even better and eliminated 22 regulations for every new one put into effect.
Let's cut the red tape. Let's set free our dreams. And yes, let's make America great again. And one of the ways we're going to do that is by getting rid of a lot of unnecessary regulation.
And yesterday, the FCC made some big headlines as well and passed new regulations to roll back the net neutrality rules of the Obama administration, which prevented internet providers from slowing down certain websites or charging more for others to run faster. Instead, the new rules will require internet providers disclose if they're doing any of those things. The FCC chairman said this change should benefit consumers.
It is not the job of the government to be in the business of picking winners and losers in the internet economy. We should have a level playing field.
A number of states disagree with that assessment, though, and are planning to sue the federal government over the change. New York's Attorney General is leading the charge and said in a statement, this is not just an attack on the future of our internet, it's an attack on all New Yorkers and on the integrity of every American's voice in government, and we will fight back. A lot to come on this. Nobody likes having their Netflix slowed down.
No, absolutely not. The horror of that. Well, the FCC commissioner will be on Fox and Friends coming up later, so we'll see what he has to say. Thank you so much, Garrett.
You got it.
Well, undeniable proof. How about that on full display by the Trump administration, now accusing Iran of violating the Obama-era nuclear agreement. A U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, presenting this. This is debris of ballistic missiles, unmanned aircraft, and exploding boats bearing Iran's signature designs. Well, the Trump administration claims that they were exported and used by rebels to attack civilians in Saudi Arabia.
Iran has hidden behind the nuclear deal, constantly threatening to get out of it. But these are the things they're doing while we're all looking the other way. And these are the things that will be dangerous, that will lead us to the next North Korea if we don't do something to stop it.
Well, here's something that is dangerous. Iran has denied building those weapons. President Trump decertified the nuclear deal in October, but Congress has failed to pass any further sanctions. And a dangerous close call between American and Russian fighter jets nearly colliding over Syria. 2 Russian planes, they were caught flying in an agreed off-limits area. Well, the U.S. Air Force jets firing flares meant to send a very strong message, a maneuver known as headbutting. But one Russian plane flew close enough, so close, in fact, that it almost crashed into an American jet. Now, the Russian planes left the area about 40 minutes later. Well, President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin taking a rare phone call to talk about North Korea. No word on exactly what was said, but we do know that they're trying to de-escalate some tensions over North Korea's intensifying nuclear program, of course. But overnight, Russia's deputy foreign minister warning recent pressure on North Korea to stop its missile program is approaching, quote, a red line. Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, squashing reports that he plans to quit Washington, quit it altogether after the 2018 midterms.
Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. I'm not at it. No.
You found that funny, apparently. There are multiple rumors, though, that Paul was stepping down next year once tax reform gets completed, but he has been the House Speaker since October of 2015. And another first for President Trump, the unveiling of his first ever official Christmas portrait. Well, it shows the First Lady standing next to him in the cross hall of the White House, surrounded by Christmas trees. Look at it there. Very nice. She tweeted out the picture wishing everyone Merry Christmas. Vice President Mike Pence and Second Lady Karen also taking part in the holiday tradition, unveiling their first official Christmas portrait. And the White House does look beautiful this time of year. At the time now, it's about 10 minutes after the top of the hour. President Trump's promise to end the Obamacare mandate closer to becoming reality. Just as we learned that the Affordable Care Act, it's about to get a whole lot more uncomfortable. Dr. Nicole Saphier joins us live with what that means for all of us. And thou shalt not steal. Welcome back to Fox and Friends. First, a Fox News alert for you. ISIS threatening Americans again this Christmas season, this time in our nation's capital. The latest propaganda calls for attacks on Washington, D.C.'s National Cathedral by depicting it up in flames. Well, this after the terror army made this threat just weeks ago, depicting Times Square with Santa Claus and a box of dynamite. Well, that picture may have inspired terror suspect Akayed Ullah, who is accused of setting off a pipe bomb in New York City's subway system on Monday. Well, a domestic terrorist and cop killer is now suing the New York State Board of Parole, complaining about bias. And Judith Clark says that she was unfairly denied parole back in April and treated as, quote, as a symbol of crime rather than an individual. Now, Clark was the getaway driver in a deadly 1981 armored truck heist where a security guard and 2 police officers were killed. A New York Governor Andrew Cuomo commuted her sentence last December, making her immediately eligible for parole. Happening today, lawmakers have come to an agreement on tax reform, the tax reform bill, which the Senate and the House committees finalized on the Hill last night. And one of the major deals struck during negotiations was the elimination of Obamacare's individual mandate. It also comes as some new numbers show 2018 Obamacare premiums spiking higher than predicted. And joining me now is Dr. Nicole Saphier to talk a little bit more about this. Thank you so much for coming in this morning.
Good morning, Heather.
So, come to an agreement, first of all, is difficult for anyone to understand. But as we expected, the individual mandate now will be gone.
That's right, Heather. The latest version of the tax bill kills one of the most controversial parts of the Affordable Care Act. It gets rid of the financial penalty that patients suffer from not wanting to have health insurance. And so what we will expect to see from this is some people are going to choose not to have health insurance. And that's a fact. That's going to happen. We don't necessarily know how many people that's going to be. It's estimated right now is about 4 million people, but the bottom line is we don't know how many people are buying insurance because of this penalty. With that, it's estimated that you're going to see about a 10% increase in premiums. Right. Now, we already know that we're going to have increased premiums regardless.
And let's take a look at that. We actually have a graphic that we can show people in terms of the amount of the increases, the average increases for Obamacare insurance premiums, if we can pull that one up. Bronze increases 18%, silver increases 32%, and gold increases 18%.
Yes, exactly. You are going to see the higher increases in the silver plans. Now, the lower income earners and the lower middle income earners aren't necessarily going to see these price increases. Although the premiums will go up, they are receiving subsidies from the government, so that's going to offset that increase. So they're not necessarily going to see it. Now, the people who will see this, who this is going to hit home for, are the people who buy on the exchange who do not receive subsidies from the government. So they're going to see largely increased premiums, and so something's going to have to be done for this. So this is the first step. We're not finished. I expect that we're going to see a health care bill soon after, maybe the Alexander Murray. That's a great bipartisan bill that's going to help with this. So we'll see what happens next.
And it's important because individual states have different things happening to them as a result of Obamacare. We can take a look at some of that as well. Facts by the numbers. There are 8 states with just one insurer on Obamacare exchanges that in 2018. 37% the average monthly premium increase under Obamacare, and then the benchmark plan will be $1,485 a monthly cost for a family of 4, making $60,000 under Obamacare.
Right, and you have to take those numbers with a grain of salt. Although those are real numbers. Again, the families aren't necessarily seeing those increases because they are receiving subsidies for that. The people who are really going to be affected are those that are not receiving subsidies. So they will potentially have to not purchase health insurance because they can't afford it. So this is the first step. We need something else to make sure that those people are not suffering.
Okay, so you get half your present, but you need more. Okay.
We're not finished. They're not finished.
All right. The sales, the after holiday sales, you can get it there.
That's right.
All right, thank you so much. much. Appreciate
having me
Dr.
out there.
Sapphire. Well, the time now is about 18 minutes after the top of the hour. And fired or not fired? That is the question for former White House aide Omarosa.
If I had confronted John Kelly, it would garner enough attention for anyone in the room to at least take a picture or a video.
Well, what we just learned about what really went down inside the Situation Room.
I look at this as a reset. I think this is an earnest attempt for you to reach out to all of us, not just to me.
I can't believe you would question my ability to
Girl, bye.
The White House and the press calling a truce on Piegate for Christmas. Did Sara Huckabee Sanders get the last laugh? Carly Shimkus is here with the response from the reporter who started. Welcome back. Hot on a book tour for his new book, Let Trump Be Trump. Former Trump campaign manager Corey Lewandowski is wasting no time taking a swipe at his former campaign opponent, Hillary Clinton. Carly Shimkus with Fox News Headlines 24/7, Sirius XM 115 is here with the details of a very strange run-in between the two of them, right?
Yeah, to say the least. So by some strange twist of fate, it appears Corey Lewandowski ran into Hillary Clinton, of all people, while on his book tour. He took to Twitter to talk about it, saying David Bossie and I are at the Let Trump Be Trump book signing in Los Angeles at the Peninsula Hotel, where crooked Hillary Clinton just showed up. What? Wonder if she read our answer to what happened. So as you can imagine, this tweet is creating a whole bunch of buzz. One Twitter user says, maybe she's going to set up a table right next to yours. You can have a book off. And this person has a suggestion. Give her a signed copy and bill me for it. I have a whole lot of questions about this, though.
Yeah.
Did they talk?
Right.
What does he mean by just showed up? So, Corey, if you're listening, let
and
us
then
know.
if they have like the rivalry book tours, even though apparently hers is
in
already
one
over.
corner we have Corey Lewandowski, in the other.
See, that would be good. That's a good Saturday Night Live skit,
It
actually.
sure is.
So
An idea.
different color graduation caps.
Yeah, that's right.
Why, first of all?
Well, Glen Rock High School in New Jersey is getting rid of their traditional gender-based graduation color gowns. Boys used to wear red, girls used to wear white. They're getting rid of that out of concerns that it would offend students who consider themselves gender fluid. The high school principal there says times have changed in terms of gender identity. It's really meant to be a step towards unity. Someone said it's been that way since 1959. My answer is that it's not 1959 anymore, yet to say the least. Ken on Facebook says, whatever happened to the traditional black cap and gown with a gold tassel? He goes on to say, I'm sure that would offend someone too. One more tweet, good grief. If they're going to have a meltdown over what color the caps are, stay home. So now every student is going to wear red on their graduation.
What's the matter with something being traditional and just keeping it that way?
Tradition's out the door
you don't have
these days,
to change
Heather.
everything.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Piegate. Most important topic.
A new twist in the Piegate situation. It appears they have made their peace. April Ryan and Sara Huckabee Sanders have come together on this one. Take a look at this.
I look at this as a reset. I think this is an earnest attempt for you to reach out to all of us, not just to me.
I can't believe you would question my ability to
Girl,
make
bye.
I mean, but it was a joke. But at the beginning, it was a joke. So what? You could be from the South and you can't cook. A lot of people can't cook.
Yikes. Yeah, it seemed a little heated to me. Now, this whole thing all started, of course, when Sara Huckabee Sanders posted a picture of a pie she made on social media, and April Ryan said that she didn't make it, questioned the fact that it was store-bought. Well, Mike Huckabee tweeted this video out and said kudos to April Ryan and the White House press corps for having pie with the press secretary and sharing a sweet moment. I don't know if that was really that sweet, though.
No.
Seemed a little tense.
Yeah, not with the girl bye comment.
Yeah.
Come on. It's like no matter what either Sara Huckabee Sanders does or President Trump does,
Yeah.
it's just not going to be good. With
Merry
some people.
Christmas, everybody.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
Appreciate
a lot.
it. Well, this Fox News alert for you now, and this is really, really tragic. Sorry to have to bring you this news. A firefighter killed battling those wildfires in California as powerful winds pose a new threat. We're live with the very latest. And a new bombshell, FBI bombshell. Did James Comey mince words to protect his preferred presidential candidate?
Peter Strzok and others, including Comey, set out to exonerate Clinton for purely political motives in the face of overwhelming evidence of criminality. That is obstruction of justice.
All right, so if that's the case, is it time for someone to face charges? Your comments coming up. Fox News alert for you. Some brand new documents revealing that then FBI Director James Comey's exoneration statement in Hillary Clinton's email probe was watered down. Senator Ron Johnson releasing the early draft that we've heard about, showing several key edits. Do you remember this statement from Comey?
We assess it is possible that hostile actors gained access to Secretary Clinton's personal email account.
Now, in the early draft, Comey described Clinton's actions as grossly negligent. And then there's this.
Although we did not find clear evidence that Secretary Clinton or her colleagues intended to violate laws governing the handling of classified information, there is evidence that they were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
The original statement now shows that Comey originally said that it was reasonably likely that hostile actors gained access to Clinton's account. Reasonably likely. And now we do know that FBI agent Peter Strzok, who sent the anti-President Trump text messages during the election, helped Comey modify his statement. We know about that now. Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett says that that's enough evidence of obstruction of justice within the FBI.
These are the papers that we've just obtained, and it shows very clearly that James Comey felt that Hillary Clinton committed crimes. Somebody rewrote it. It appears to be Peter Strzok. And what would his motivation be? It's revealed in his emails with Lisa Page when she writes, "You are here because you were meant to protect the country from that menace," meaning Donald Trump. If Peter Strzok and others, including Comey, set out to exonerate Clinton for purely political motives in the face of overwhelming evidence of criminality, that is obstruction of justice by Strzok and Comey and others.
That's what Greg Jarrett has to say. I listened to him. Well, a new poll now saying that 54% of Americans do believe that the Mueller probe is tainted. And we asked if you think there's a conflict of interest since he is a friend of former FBI Director James Comey. Joan on Facebook writes, "How can you think this probe is not tainted?" Good question. And then Al on Instagram posting this, "Yes, look at the people he hired and how close they were to the Clinton campaign. Seems more like a takedown than an investigation." And then Ben tweets this investigation is as tainted as can be. Conflicts of hatred and disdain. It speaks volumes. These headhunter prosecutors and intelligence employees who hate Trump couldn't find or do a thing in over a year. Shut it down. And Samuel writing on Facebook, "We Americans should be yelling foul from the tallest mountains." A lot of folks are, but who's listening? Now to this other Fox News alert for you. Across the country where deadly wildfires continue to rage. This tragic news. A 32-year-old father is the first firefighter killed. And Corey Iverson leaving behind a pregnant wife and his 2-year-old daughter, Evie. Will Carr live in Los Angeles where some fierce winds now pose an even bigger threat. Will?
Good morning, Heather. Corey Iverson died while battling the Thomas fire, which is now the 4th largest wildfire in California's history. Iverson, who leaves behind a wife who's pregnant and a young daughter, has worked with CAL FIRE since 2009. He was part of a strike team on the front lines trying to up the containment numbers on the fire when something went tragically wrong. Now, officials aren't releasing any other details at this point, but firefighters this morning honoring the sacrifice of one of their own.
Normally at this time of year, we're slowing down and we're starting to focus on spending time with our family and enjoying the holiday season. And now tonight we're just dealing with the tragedy, and it is overwhelming for all of us.
In a statement, Governor Jerry Brown says Iverson's bravery and years committed service to the people of California will never be forgotten. Fire crews certainly keeping Iverson in mind as they continue to fight against the Thomas fire, which has burned more than 240,000 acres, destroyed nearly 1,000 homes and buildings, and is now 35% contained. The fire has also spread smoke across a large swath of Southern California. Some residents so desperate for fresh air, Heather, they simply left the area.
All right, Will Carr, it's definitely tragic news. Let's hope that it does not happen to anyone else out there battling the fires. Thank you very much. Well, President Trump, one step closer to delivering on his promise to cut taxes. Senate Republicans have now finalized the language of the bill. That means no more changes can be made. With a vote expected next week, Republican Senator Marco Rubio demanding that any last-minute changes to the child tax credit. He tweeted this, adding at least a few $100s in refundable cuts for working families who seem to always be forgotten isn't hard to do either. Fox News has been told that changes have been made and the final bill is expected to be unveiled today. And in anticipation of a final vote on tax reform, Vice President Mike Pence will be sticking around Washington, D.C. He's apparently delaying his trip to the Middle East just in case he's needed as a tiebreaker. GOP lawmakers hold a narrow majority. We reported on that. They can only afford to lose 2 votes. Vice President will leave Tuesday to meet with the Egyptian president. Here's an update for you. Former Apprentice contestant Omarosa Manigault ousted by John Kelly despite her insistence that she actually resigned. Fox News learning that President Trump's chief of staff told Omarosa that she was fired in the White House Situation Room, where electronic devices are not allowed. That's important to know. We have this new revelation after what she said, or after this.
Where are the pictures or videos? If I had confronted John Kelly, who is a very formidable person, it would garner enough attention for anyone in the room to at least take a picture or a video.
Not when electronic devices aren't allowed. Sarah Huckabee Sanders later defending the White House, saying that the president likes Omarosa and thanked her for her service. Well, the time now is about 20 minutes until the top of the hour, and a police officer fired after going to church on the clock, even though he never missed a call. Is that department violating his religious freedom? And the FCC killing Obama-era net neutrality regulations, what that means for your internet service and your wallet. And the technology of 2017, from hack attacks to smart watches to Alexa. Kurt, the Cyber Guy's here with the biggest tech successes and failures. For you, net neutrality overturned, the FCC taking a major step in repealing an Obama-era internet regulation. Tracy Crosco from our sister network, Fox Business, here with what this means for all of us. Good morning.
Good morning, Heather. Yes, so let's start with what net neutrality is. These were put in place in 2015, these rules, and it means that all traffic on the internet should be treated equally. So no internet service providers could slow or block or give preferential treatment to any sites or services. But now with this vote, rolling back on the net neutrality protections, ISPs could block you from streaming video from like Netflix or YouTube, or charge you extra to use those sites. And now this repeal is good news for large telecommunications companies and internet companies, but not so good news maybe for consumers, because we could pay a little bit more. But here is what FCC Chairman Ajit Pai had to say on repealing net neutrality.
It is not the job of the government to be in the business of picking winners and losers in the internet economy. We should have a level playing field.
Now, as far as in entrepreneurs or smaller startup companies, you know, they could have some trouble with these rules also, because they would be forced to possibly pay a little bit more.
Yeah, it's very complicated, and I think a lot of people don't understand it.
Yes.
But something people do understand, the word free and
Yes.
shipping day.
Absolutely, that is today. We talked about it earlier this week, but we wanted to remind you, today is free shipping day. Hundreds of retailers are offering free shipping with no minimum price guaranteed delivery by December 24th. That's Christmas Eve. So if you have to do any shopping, today is a great day to do it. Hundreds of retailers are participating. You can see on your screen Kohl's, Staples, Walmart, Old Navy. Again, no price minimum for your free shipping.
All right. So Walmart participating in free shipping. Also, Walmart workers can get paid whenever they want.
Yeah, so this is a cool concept. This is called InstaPay service, and it's for Walmart's 1.4 million workers. And what it does, it will allow workers to access before payday half of the wages that they've earned. So Walmart says they want their workers to be able to plan for bills, their expenses, and just plan what they need to spend. So this will be available to all of the workers.
All right, yeah. And the Walmart workers and all of their customers smell great.
Yes.
All over the country. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Tracy.
You too.
Well, 2017, it was a big year for innovations in the tech industry, but with every hit product, there's always a few misses. Here to break down this year, the biggest tech successes, the biggest failures, Cyber Guy, Kirk Knudsen, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning to you. It was a huge year,
Yeah.
a huge loser year when it comes to three concepts I want to go over. For
Okay,
the first
start
one,
with that.
Remember Equifax? 145 million of us in America had their credit.
I had forgotten about the Equifax hack, actually.
Right, it got hacked into. That means your Social Security number is out of the rampant dark web and for sale for a lot of people, and they're offering protection to people, but still, having Equifax hasn't really made good or really said what they're going to do about helping everybody at this point, other than saying, hey, we're going to protect you from this point forward with credit protection.
Interesting.
Then remember this device, it was $700, and they promised if they put all this really cool fruit in a bag, they deliver the bag to you, and the juicer that they sold you called Juicero
So it's
for
there on the
$700.
screen. I don't think I remember that. Explain a little further.
You don't remember it because it came and went like that. It was a huge loser for 2017. What people found out is that these bags of fruit that they would send you to put in this very expensive juicer to make this fabulous juice that you didn't have to clean the juicer up afterwards, people would just squeeze the bag and get the same amount of juice even faster without using the juicer at all into the cup, and so poof,
So the
company
juicer
went
made
down.
it more difficult, so
It did.
fail there.
And then Uber really on the radar for a loser this year, and that's because Uber is just rampant with all kinds of internal problems, external problems with riders, drivers, and of course they lost their CEO, Travis Kalanick, this year, kicking him out. And then the employees are airing sexual harassment complaints. You have a company that used a secret program to monitor drivers and where they went, and it's just not a really good year for Uber unless maybe you're a consumer this week where they have discounts on rides during the holiday.
Good to know. Okay.
Hey, you get some pluses, you get some minuses, but a big loser.
What was
overall.
good? What worked?
Giant great successes of this year. Take a look at Apple's smartwatch. Remember, this first came out in 2015. You had to have an iPhone with it, which is a little drawback. So, oh gosh, okay, I have to have a phone. And otherwise, it wouldn't really work well to connect up to the internet. Well, now they've come out with Watch 3, which is being heralded as a huge success this year. It has its own cellular technology inside of it, and sales very, very brisk.
Great. So you don't have to buy another product to go along with it.
Yeah, and it has spawned new interest in the Apple Watch.
Okay.
And then it's got great health information on the watch that's coming later this year, or in 2018. We're going to see that roll out. Smart homes. I honestly missed this one completely. A huge success. The smart home market really lit on fire in 2017, all from Amazon Alexa. Alexa really, I saw that Echo device and I just went, this is a joke. Well, the fact is I was way wrong back then when I first looked at it. Boy, not only do people love it, but Amazon, very smart, opened it up for developers so that now we can turn off and on lights at home. People now putting in those thermostats, et cetera.
And now there's a whole nother industry where people can hire them to like go to your dorm room and you have a smart dorm room. I was reading about that just the other day.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not stopping at your own home, so no matter where you go. And then finally, the big winner this year, face detection. So facial recognition has been huge this year. You saw this week, Apple just invested in its own the company that they use for the new iPhone 10, where you just show the phone and it recognizes your face rather than using your biometrics with your finger. And the fact of the matter is, you're going to see a lot more of that coming up in 2018.
There have been some problems, though, because didn't we report on like somebody's child or something was able to open their mom's
Twins
phone?
can do it once in a while. I mean, look,
still working on it.
It's minor.
Okay.
But as far as my testing on it, it's been pretty
fascinating.
spot on.
It is. It's like the future is here. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Yeah.